My name is Mireille Steenkamer. I'm a Jungian analyst located in Amsterdam, and together with my colleague Bouchra, we will talk about the shadow and the animus today. Bouchra, welcome.
Hi Mireille. Hi everyone watching or hearing us. I am Bouchra Arbaoui, a Jungian analyst based in Amsterdam, working online and on person. Welcome to this podcast. Yeah, Mireille, you said the shadow and the animus.
Yeah, just before.
Yes.
Yeah, before we were going to record, we were talking about or the topic that came up is wanting more. So what's a number in any case, wanting more in food, or wanting more in a workshop, or wanting more love, or wanting just the theme of wanting more. And if I take it into the collective, I often feel that's what's going on in the outside world, always wanting more, wanting more than the basics. If we go back, like, okay, I'm going to paint a big picture now. So we have earth, we have nature given to us, we are given to ourselves, our parents have given us birth. And then from that point, it feels like we want more, in the sense, okay, we learn to walk, we learn to speak, we learn to do the things humans are capable of doing, and then we have reached that, and then we want more. So now we want to go to the moon, and then we want to go to Mars, and then so this always wanting more. I feel it in the collective, but before our talk, we were talking about it in a smaller sense in our own lives. And we addressed, hey, with which shadow, or yeah, what does it touch? What does it touch? What is it actually really about? And that's of course what all our talks are about. What is actually the essence? Because when we go, and this is very Jungian, of course, that's why we do these talks. What's the essence? What's this archetypal energy, or what archetypal energy is playing with us? And what does it want to show and teach us? Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, feeling it. And to me, this is really about the mother energy, about the mother archetype, how we relate to the mother archetype. Like we want more from her, we are taking, or we feel she doesn't give us. So feel with me, the mother, you really come from her womb. Yeah, just feel what happens to you. Like when you are born, you are, yeah, taken, or she gives you from her breast. So it's this relating to this thing that is given. Actually, the mother archetype is given. It's there always. Yeah. And this is this relationship to the thing that is given, the earth, the air that you breathe, the food that you just go to the supermarkets nowadays, you just take. Yeah, the earth gives us, and we have the feeling we have to take. Actually, there is no taking, there is only, it's there. And like with the breath, you open your mouth and you just, the breath comes out in words. I mean, it's all, actually, we are not in the taking, we are not in the doing, we are in the being. And somehow this thing has a wound. individually, but also in collective. We have this idea we have to do, we have to grab, we have to take action to realize something. But at the end of it, it's given. For me, it's like this given thing. There is, yeah, for me personally, I recognize that, but also collectively, there is a feeling of not enough. There is, as if there is not enough even air. A lot of people, yeah, also there is not enough for me to breathe. Feel there is not enough for you to breathe. What's this nonsense? But it's a nonsense that's real in our experience, because we have a wound here, different for how it manifests for you. But it can be even, I don't have enough breath, I can't breathe. But there is, how come there is not enough? Well, it's your experience, it's true. But it's also how you relate to this given. Yeah, it's about allowing, about also changing how you relate. That relating is not actually not about taking and giving, it's about more than that. What is it?
Yeah, I just want to reflect on that with going back to the mother womb, or to the womb and wound. The womb is given to us, and probably so is the wound. The example of breastfeeding, you have, or there are babies that really like gulge, I don't know if that's the right word, but really, go to the breast and they can't get enough, and they just like until it really hurts the mother, the breast of the mother. And there are babies that and you put on the breast and they feed, and then they know when they have enough. And so, because if we look at the archetype, so already when the baby is just born, there's already something in there of wanting more. Ooh, wanting more milk, more milk, more milk, for some babies, and for some, they know when it's enough. So that's what I find interesting in, where does this come from? If we go back, this, it's because the breast mother, it's a beautiful example, is given to the baby. I just want to stick to the baby, because for me it's the most pure here in life. It's given to the baby, but already then some are taking more maybe than actually needed. So what is that? That and that continues on in our lives, like as adults now. It's like, yeah, I mean, the supermarkets are full of foods.
Yeah, and in the COVID, about the toilet paper.
Oh.
That's also an example that,
yeah. So what is it, if we look, just feel with me, and you're listening, feel with me. What is this energy of wanting more than that is given?
What comes to me, Mireille, if I can say this, destruction. There is this need, actually, there is creation and destruction, and somehow it's the same energy, but there is like this choice. When we are not conscious, we can go into destruction, which is also the addiction, which is also the wanting to take the whole thing, to exhaust it, to make it yours only, so as to feel this security, and to fulfill something, a void that's in you, that's in our society, that will never be fulfilled. So there is some kind of of distortion that happened between creation and also play and making it, because this is human play, but also human is destruction, and there is somehow something happened that you, instead of play and enjoyment, you go to destruction and fear, actually fear that I don't have enough, because the thing is given, it means that is there always, that it's not something to grab, it's yeah, and it's a relationship between the mother, because when the baby goes to the breast, there is this mother also. It's also a way of mothering, eh? It's a way of mothering. I think it's not only the baby, it's also the mothering, I think.
For sure. Well, the baby is born through the mother, so the baby is a projection of the mother. And what you just said, I had to think of the Garden of Eden. I had to think of Adam and Eve with the apple, the verleiding.
Yeah, I can't come to the word too.
So this is interesting. So I'm just going to use
temptation.
Yeah. So I'm going to use so I couldn't come up with the word. So that's a shadow bit, probably also playing with us. Temptation is, yeah, what's the temptation? And on the other hand, if we look at the story of Adam and Eve, of course, the temptation and the picking of the apple brought us here to earth. That's how it's like sometimes we need to destruct something to create something new. So I really want to stress this, that it's not always taking is sometimes needed to create something new, or to become aware, okay, this taking will bring us further in whatever. So it's not that taking, I don't want to stress that taking is bad or giving is bad. They're both needed, but actually what's in the we always want to go what's in the middle. And what does it say about us humans, or you as a person, as an individual? And what does it say about your individuation? And if I look at temptation, there are so many, and it's like there are so many temptations in everyday life. Even after you've listened to this talk and you go on with your day, I want to invite you just to become aware, just only for this day, how many temptations come on your path only this day. And what do you do with them? What do they do with you? For example, yesterday I was tempted, and I took the temptation. I have something with sugar, so sometimes I eat too much sugar. So if you're talking about feeding, and I felt sick after. What I can do is I feel, oh, I need to go on, but my whole body says, even today, stop and just sit and relax. And that's why I'm really happy with this topic, because it's a real female energy. Just stop and be. Just be. It's like the mother carrying the baby for 9 months. It's just, the essence is being and allowing it allowing to grow what needs to grow naturally. And just only taking good care of yourself without the polarities, or maybe they have integrated then, or they are integrated then, but just being in the moment with it. And then you can go deeper to, okay, what is actually going on? Okay, I was tempted, but what is actually going on? What does not want to be felt? Or what is longing to be seen? Or what wants to be shared, said. So when we go back to that silent place, I call it, then we can really listen. But what's really going on, instead of taking, wanting more? Okay, let's just sit. And also allowing that when the answer for you doesn't come immediately, then that's okay. Then that is needed. So then it's just time is needed. So of course, this is a very personal thing, but I'm also wondering if you can feel it. Of course, the listeners, they can't answer live, but feel free to email or write in the notes. I don't know if you want to reflect, Bouchra, on this.
Yeah. It's that place of being and listening to your needs. What is the real need here? What do you need? Yeah, I recognize that, of course. Yeah. And that the need sometimes is not about the wanting, it's about really needing something to feed you. Again, the food. So, yeah. And if you just go there and listen, what is behind this wanting? I'm sure it will transform for you to not wanting, but more getting in a relationship with it. This word relationship is often not in depth understood, but just take it in relationship with this temptation or this wanting. What is it? Just get curious. Get curious in a loving way, or in a neutral way, better. Just in a neutral way. What is happening here? And listen to your body. And then, yeah. And for me, there is always a kind of a memory trying to emerge, a memory of some place that really there is some disappointment, or there is something that is not met, a need of me as a child, that somehow I have this feeling, this like, and I recognize this also, like we are always like, oh, there is something better, there is some. If you see also with relationship between men and women, we have always this idea there is a bigger romance, there is so there is a better place, there is, but it's actually it's this, maybe this memory from Eden. I don't know, maybe this memory from your personal life, but just be in the present moment. And feel in your body, where does it take you really to this sugar, like, or is it, what is it? Just without analyzing it, but more feeling it in the body. Like, don't try to find the what is it, but more the energy of it. And feeling with it, yes. And the mother, the food, the mother, but there is this animus energy, to bring it to the animus, our topic. The animus energy would want actually to fix it, like when it's still in the shadow, not the pure animus energy, but the shadow would want to fix this. We are going to fix this. I'm gonna understand this. I'm gonna do something about it. I'm gonna take this sugar. This is like, and that's it plays with your intuition.
Yeah, it's beautiful you say that, because I can see, for the listeners who listen, can't see us, the movement with the hand, so forward. It's a very masculine. movement going forward. Whilst, and that's why I was really touched with it's actually about the women, the wound of the female, of being in the female and allowing this female energy, which is the essence. Because when we keep on going and going, we lose this essence part of where we are from. We are from the womb, and that is actually, if you go to the essence, it's enough. We're here.
Yeah. And the essence, it's yeah, continue.
Yeah, and the word relation or relationship, because I said, yeah, and then we are here, but then we are here and you are invited to live. So that's again the movement, the action energy. So that's the male energy. But I feel we are so much in this male, in this action energy, that we forget just to be. Just to be that in the essence, we have everything. We really have everything. We can breathe. We are here. You can go to a park, pick some fruits, get water from the trees, for instance. I'm being really, really basic. In the essence, everything is here. And talking about the shadow, we mustn't let this shadow overshadow us, that it overshadows actually our female side. So that's the essence that's why I was touched by the word relationship. So getting a relationship with your shadow, connecting with this shadow, what's underneath, because what's underneath is so powerful, and it can bring us really in touch with our inner self. And that's this whole individuation, what we are here for. I always like to use the example of the tree. The tree doesn't think, the tree knows I am here to grow from a seed to a full-grown tree, plant, flower, whatever. And in essence, for us, it's the same. And that's why the shadow work is so important, to get connected with this, not to push it aside, not to ignore it, not to push it down. But okay, so what is this shadow side? What is this wanting more? Okay, let's go back. Let's go. What need is it that is really that's really wanted, or build a relationship with it?
Yeah, it's what comes up is like this relationship with what we don't know, actually, our relationship with the unconscious. You can try to fix to go the unconscious and take to use, or you can really relate with the unconscious, like, yeah, play with it, or yeah. So we don't know, there is something we don't know. How do we relate to what we don't know? Yeah, and this is for me the shadow. The shadow is also what we don't know. We don't know. Otherwise, it's not a shadow. We don't know it, but we have a sense like there is something here. Every time there is an addiction, for instance, in a pattern you know in yourself. I am like, people say, clients say often, like, I always do this. I fall into this pattern and I try to break it. You know this. And how do you relate to this? Are you going again to fix it with the rules? Or are you going to be curious about it without trying to grab it? Let it tell you what it wants to show you, actually. And then the action will come by itself. The action is not doing, the action is born from this being, this holding the space for this thing. And then the right action will come by itself. And that's the animus, actually, is all when it's healthy. is carried by the feminine, It's the feminine is that it nourishes everything, and then the action, the right action, like the movements also in the body, when you force it and you do things from the muscle, this is more the masculine energy. That's not totally, it's not always healthy to work only from the muscles. It's like when the action comes naturally, natural movements, and then you can choose. Sometimes we choose to use more muscle. You can choose that, but it's not like I am gonna do it like from the it's also a kind of will like from force. Not to say that force is not necessary sometimes, or will is not necessary, but it's more like the how. It's more about the how and not the what. The how. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got a picture in my mind of a session with a client about relating to it, and or pushing something away, and I asked her to draw it, and she drew a cross. And so a cross is like, okay, stop, or whatever. That's an individual word to put to it. For me, for her, it was a cross. For me, it can be something else. But I asked her, okay, continue, just look at it. And she kept on looking at it. I'm going to the womb, and she looked at it and said. Then she suddenly said, it's turning into a child holding her hands up like this. So the cross, she showed the cross, and the cross she did it on the paper, and these parts of the cross, they in her picture, in her image, they turned into hands holding up, and talking about the mother womb just wanting to be nourished. So it can go so deep as because she got pictures as a baby, just wanting to be held, and there's nothing to do with being a good or bad mother. That has nothing to do with it, but the longing, just wanting to be held as a baby, which at some point we always miss out. If you're a mother, I'm sure you understand that you cannot always continuously do what a baby wants. I mean, sometimes you have to put the baby down if you have to do cooking. So those are the challenges of life, and this came up. So from rejecting something, it went from the longing of just wanting to be held. And when we can relate to this mother wound archetype, we can just sit with it. So that's what it's about. I just want to be held. I just want to feel safe. And when you can really feel that in your body and take time and to connect with it, I'm 100% sure the whole needing of that was wanting to, for instance, wanting sugar, or it will, in the end, if you can really address it, connect to it, relate to it, it will vanish. Because the essence is you just want to be nourished, held, and feel safe.
Yeah. And I just want to say, for people who recognize these patterns, it's, yeah, I called it addiction, but it can be real addiction that you recognize, but it's a pattern of addiction. It's just when you fall into this again, it's also about patience. Like, it's not you do it, you stay with it, and you hold this memory, and you listen to your body. It's not that it will work every time. No, it will work sometimes and sometimes not. And that is relating. You continue. It's continue, stay with it, really continue. And every time it gets better, because this is actually a part of yourself that is asking you to see me, I am there. Yeah, and that's also the mother and child. This is the first gaze with really the eyes. Yeah, look into each other. Yeah, and this part of you wants to be, you use the word held also in the eyes, with the hands. It's a relation. Yeah, that's really like yeah, this patience. This is also, again, it's more from the feminine, but also if we take the father energy with it, it's also in the fathering. When the father, your first actually, I think, animus image that you got as a child is the father. How were you fathered? What kind of father did you have? Is this do you recognize this patience, or do you recognize more like something else? For me, that's what comes to me, the patience and the listening. Was the father listening? Was he listening to you?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
for me, with the patience is for me a lot the female energy, and what you said about the keeping on practicing and not wanting it to be done and worked out the first time you try something or you sit with it. So the trying, the keeping on trying is for me, that's really a male energy. Just the keeping on going, trying again, trying again. So that action is actually the male, and the being patient with it is the female. And then you have them both together.
Mhm.
And now I get a picture of the lemniscate.
Mhm.
You know, the
Yeah.
movement. Yeah,
It's
okay, sit
also
with it
like a
and
symbol for
practice.
relationship, is
Yeah.
also the lemniscate. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we continue, we finish with this lemniscate image. I like it. Just
I
take
like it
it
too.
in,
Yeah.
take it in and see where do you want to start, the movement in your body, or just see it before you and just let it in, this image. And feel the movements, the continuous movements, and the meeting points also.
Yeah, and if imaging in your mind is a challenge, you can also get a pen and paper and just draw it. Just keep
Yeah.
on drawing it. And what's also fun to do is drawing it with your other hand. So making the movement with your other hand. And just see what happens. And always keep on trying and practicing.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank
Okay,
you.
I think, thank you, Mireille, thank you, everyone.
See you next time. Speak to you
Yes.
next time.